If an agent is feeling stuck, what would you tell them?
Move. Just do something. They saw something in me that was a good fit. It doesn't matter if anybody shows up. I gotta get dressed, I gotta show up, and that keeps my momentum going. There's no such thing as being stuck. You know, I've been really busy building a team and selling shit, and you know what I mean?
You do your marketing. You are the marketing.
Well,
you are it.
You know, I get a little bit confused with that stuff because I see a lot of people who are online and doing stuff and their numbers are shit. Yeah. I'd rather be the number 2 team at Virtue than have my ass spread all over the place. Yeah. You know what I mean?
Social media is a second job.
I just don't find it effective.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? But when you have a bunch
It's more brand awareness rather than get like sales.
No, I think that, you know, your service to your clients and your, you know, I think the numbers say everything at the end. So I don't know if I really need to spend $1 million and be photographing all the time when I'm out there. You have to remember, Florence never had a billboard. Yeah. She never had a Facebook page.
Let's talk about that. Yeah. So let's talk about, people know Bill Hargraves is the realtor, the agent. Mm-hmm. Talk more about, tell us about the person, Bill Hargraves, and where you started, and talk about Florence and that experience.
You know, I started at ADT and I had a very good career. I was number 17 in the nation for commercial sales at ADT. And then all of that corporate BS started where we had a CEO come in from Tyco and he was arrested on $400 million worth of fraud. And it's kind of hard to get people to trust you with their security when the top of your food chain is being, you know, indicted on those kind of charges. So I was kind of stuck, you know, because I had to have a period in my life of reflection and go, how do I protect myself from not, you know, because I was there for life. You know, I'm a pretty dedicated person. I'm super honest and super dedicated. And I believe a lot in prayer and meditation. So I just sat and looked for an answer. And the funniest thing came up is that I've loved real estate since I was playing Monopoly as a kid. So that was my inspiration. That was my answer. And so I went to school at Key Realty and it just took off. And I started with Keller Williams and then I like to say that I went from 0 to Shapiro in 18 months. I had a friend, Kenny, and he was on the team and he decided to leave real estate. And so he said, hey, I'll put in a good word for you. You want to fill my spot on the team? I said, absolutely. Who's it for? You know, because I didn't know anything about it. And it was for Florence and Florence and Ivan. And so I went in and I was terrified and I interviewed and felt odd and unqualified. And they saw something in me that was a good fit. And so the next 10 years I was with them until Florence passed away. And super grateful because, like, you know, I now having a team, I can see where people are not trained with core values. They're taught how to do a transaction. They're taught how to talk the talk and maybe put too much emphasis on how they dress or what they drive. But Florence and Ivan showed me how to be a realtor, how to walk, talk, act, be a good representative for my clients, to conduct business with no gray area. If it was gray, we walk away, and all about fulfilling that duties owed and being committed and transparent to our clients. That's why I started a team. I mean, I don't need this headache. I don't need, right? I don't need 12 grown adults, you know, following me around. But what I wanted to do is I wanted to fill that vacancy that Florence left, because I want an environment where agents can be full of integrity and do good transactions. And that's one of the reasons why I joined Virtue, because Darren and I were raised in the same environment and have the same values. Because if you have a foundation of good values, you can go anywhere. And like I was telling you before we started all of this, is Florence never had a billboard. She never had a Facebook page. She never had anything like that. Her sole reputation, even years after her death, is how good she treated her customers and how awesome a person she was, and how she carried herself with class and dignity. And that's what I want to replicate.
How are you doing that in your day-to-day life or with your team building right now?
Well, first, everything that's good starts in the truth. no matter whether it's a good truth or no matter whether it's a bad truth. And that's one of the things that Florence they used to call her the iron fist and the velvet glove, right? So it's not like you have to be brutal with the truth, but the truth is essential. And that's where we stay. So sometimes, coaching isn't easy and you have to be direct. Sometimes telling your client house is overpriced, or if they're delusional about some terms or being unreasonable, I think that's where it starts. Truth starts everything. And then, have some damn fun. There's so many people in real estate that aren't having any fun. They're stressed about transactions. They're stressed about media outlets. They're stressed about the market. They pay attention to too many things. There's no such thing as a bad market. There's just circumstances where you have to adjust. Like right now in this market, our main focus as a team and what our success is in this supposedly difficult year is we're paying attention to the have-tos, not the want-tos. The people that have to move, the people that have to do something, instead of the people that want to, because they're caught up in all of the confusion and all of the weirdness and all of the percentage rates and all of this, that, or the next thing. So we've made a successful year so far paying attention to the have-tos, the ones that are being transferred, the ones that are having a baby, the ones that need to do something right now.
If an agent is feeling stuck, what would you tell them?
Move. Just do something. I don't care if it's put your open house sign out. Make a phone call, because the only reason why anybody gets stuck in a rut, whether it's emotionally or mentally or physically, is they're not moving. They're sitting there thinking about what should happen instead of going and doing something. So it really doesn't matter what you do. And that was really given to me by Kristen Roth Silverman, who is insanely successful. She said, Bill, if you're stuck in a rut, just put an open house sign out and go sit there. Doesn't matter if anybody comes. Because what I don't think people understand is it's about momentum. If you're failing in a relationship or you're failing in your job or do something to get the motion going back. Everybody's like, why are you doing so many open houses? Well, because it creates momentum for our sellers. It shows concern and care, and it gets me motivated. Right? It doesn't matter if anybody shows up. I got to get dressed. I got to show up. And that keeps my momentum going. There's no such thing as being stuck. You stopped. Just start going again. And you know what? I'm going to tell you something. People overthink everything nowadays. There's so much stimulation coming at us through media and through social, and do this and do that or do whatever. Nobody's making decisions about themselves. So while you're stuck sitting there thinking about a business, there's other people like the agents on my team that are packing the signs in the car and going to what may be an empty house, but they are in their momentum, they are in their groove. They are actively putting themselves in a position where business could happen by accident. Because there's a difference between being busy and being productive.
Someone was to say why Hargraves or why Virtue to wrap this video. Why Virtue and why the Hargraves team?
Well, I think it's all in the value, right? It's all in the experience. Are you going to have people who are going to present an image to you, or are you going to have people that actually have the experience? We have sold hundreds of millions of dollars. We have been trained by the best. We actively work. We don't discuss. We don't lollygag around, which is one of my favorite words, by the way. Thanks, Mom. Lollygag is the most ridiculous thing ever, right? But that's the difference, because there's a lot different than putting things on the market and creating an energy and being excited. And that's the second thing about the Hargraves Luxury Group and Virtue. We're all having a good time. We want to be in real estate. We love our clients, and we take representation very seriously. You don't find that everywhere else. It's not just a job for us. And that's why I love Darren. That's why I love you. That's why I'm at Virtue. And that's why, even though I have very limited experienced agents on my team, because I like to train them from news, right? But they're all excited, they're all motivated, and every single one, even the brand new ones, are producing. Because that's the difference. Because we work, we love what we do, and we do it with integrity.